Wake up, America, the shocking truth about retirement is here, and it will destroy your dreams if you ignore it. Most workers have shockingly low savings that won't last even a few years after leaving the workforce, with costs skyrocketing and benefits shrinking fast. You could face poverty while still healthy enough to enjoy life, but without the money to do it. Start facing reality before it's too late. The terrifying reality hits hard when you discover median retirement savings for ages 55 to 64 sit at only $185,000, far below what experts say is needed. This gap leaves millions unable to cover basics, forcing them into desperate choices that ruin golden years forever. Prepare to be stunned, because healthcare costs alone can devour $330,000 for a typical couple in retirement. Eating up 1/3 of every Social Security check you receive, this hidden monster quietly destroys plans, leaving you broke despite years of hard work and careful budgeting. You won't believe how many Americans now plan to work past 65, simply because they cannot afford to stop earning the dream of relaxing after decades of labor has vanished. For millions, replaced by endless worry about running out of money before life ends. The devastating news is that the Social Security Trust Fund faces insolvency by 2033, with possible 24% benefit cuts. Coming soon, millions who rely on it as their only income will see checks shrink dramatically, turning retirement into a survival struggle. Shocking fact that changes everything: 13% of non-retired Americans have literally $0 saved for retirement. This means entire generations risk living in poverty after working their whole lives, with inflation making every penny worth less each year. Imagine needing $1.26 million to retire comfortably, yet most people have far less than half that amount saved. The gap between expectation and harsh reality grows wider every year, leaving families unable to maintain even basic living standards. The brutal truth no one wants to hear is that healthcare inflation runs twice as fast as Social Security cost of living adjustments, forcing retirees to spend more than their benefits just on medical needs, while everything else gets cut from their shrinking budget forever. Nearly 2/3 of Americans now believe retiring on time between 65 and 70 is completely unattainable. This widespread despair comes from skyrocketing living costs and insufficient savings, turning what should be freedom into lifelong financial stress. The crisis deepens as longevity risk means living 5 years longer than planned increases chance of running out of money by over 40%. Yet most ignore this fact until it's too late, and savings vanish faster than anyone predicted. Credit card debt exceeding $1.2 trillion across America shows how unprepared people enter retirement years with burdens that compound and destroy any chance of peaceful golden years, leaving stress instead of relaxation. Over 10% of adults 65 and older now live in poverty, and that number keeps rising, while younger generations watch helplessly, knowing the same fate awaits them without drastic changes to saving habits. The shocking reality forces many retirees to keep working part-time just to cover basic expenses, because their savings and benefits fall short of covering food, housing, and medicine in today's expensive world. Retirement savings deficit estimated between $6.8 and $14 trillion reveals how entire country faces massive shortfall that will burden future generations with higher taxes and reduce support for elders. Only 9.3% of households with retirement accounts have more than $500,000 saved, meaning the vast majority will struggle to maintain any decent lifestyle once paychecks stop coming in. The truth that scares everyone is that 45% of older adult households lack enough income to cover basic expenses, forcing impossible choices between medicine, food, or keeping the lights on every single month. Prescription drugs and out-of-pocket medical costs continue rising faster than any benefit increase, turning what should be peaceful retirement into constant battle just to stay healthy and alive. Average retirement age keeps climbing as people realize they cannot afford to stop working. The traditional dream has been replaced by necessity to labor longer than previous generations ever imagined. Average monthly Social Security benefit around $2,000 sounds decent until you realize it must cover everything from housing to healthcare, while inflation quietly erodes purchasing power year after year. Millions of retirees discover too late that their savings run out long before life does, forcing them into difficult decisions about cutting food, travel, or even basic home maintenance forever. The harsh statistic shows baby boomers average around $249,000 in 401k balances, yet that amount barely covers a fraction of expected retirement expenses in today's economy. Social Security Trust Fund depletion by 2033 means automatic benefit reductions without congressional action will hit millions who counted on full payments to survive their later years. Fidelity estimates show couples need $330,000 just for healthcare, excluding long-term care. Yet most have saved nowhere near enough to handle this exploding expense alone. 20% of adults admit they are not currently saving anything for retirement, including some who say they never plan to start. This dangerous choice guarantees future hardship. The retirement crisis affects every generation as Gen X and millennials face even steeper challenges with higher costs and lower real wage growth than their parents experienced. Long-term care costs exceeding $100,000 per year can wipe out entire life savings in months, leaving nothing for spouse or children after one serious health event. Living longer than expected sounds great until you realize it dramatically increases risk of outliving your money by over 300%. In worst-case scenarios, nearly half of workers never participate in employer retirement plans, leaving them completely dependent on Social Security, which itself faces major funding problems ahead. The shocking truth is that retirement income for many households falls short of monthly expenses by hundreds of dollars, forcing constant cutbacks that reduce quality of life dramatically. Inflation combined with healthcare and housing costs creates a perfect storm that destroys retirement security for average Americans faster than any previous generation faced. Median retirement balance for those under 35 sits at only $18,800, showing how far behind even young workers already are in building security. Time is running out as millions realize too late they need to save dramatically more each month just to have any chance of comfortable retirement years ahead. The American retirement dream has become a nightmare for many who discover savings evaporate quickly when real-life medical and living expenses hit hard. Benefits that once provided security now cover less than 40% of pre-retirement income for average worker, creating a massive hole that savings must fill. Unexpected medical events can derail even best-laid plans, turning comfortable retirement into financial disaster within months for unprepared families. The crisis grows worse each year as fewer workers have pensions, leaving defined contribution plans as only option that many underfund dramatically. Experts warn that without major changes, millions of baby boomers and following generations will face poverty rates never seen before in modern America. Every year delayed in saving costs you thousands in lost compound growth, making early action absolutely critical for any hope of success. The truth is that only a small percentage of Americans reach retirement with enough assets to avoid depending entirely on government programs facing cuts. Food insecurity rises among seniors as fixed incomes fail to keep pace with grocery prices, leaving many choosing between eating and medicine. Dreams of travel and hobbies in retirement vanish when savings prove insufficient, forcing people to stay home watching life pass by. Leaving nothing for children or spouse after death becomes common fear as healthcare costs consume entire estates before final years end. Market volatility in final working years can destroy decades of savings in months if not properly protected against sequence of return risk. Budgeting becomes impossible when fixed costs exceed income, forcing retirees into debt cycles that worsen with age and health decline. Many discover they will leave debts instead of assets to loved ones because retirement costs exceeded all projections made years earlier. Traditional retirement lifestyle of leisure has been replaced by constant worry about making ends meet for a growing number of seniors today. Best dates for retirement become unreachable when savings fall short of required amounts for comfortable living anywhere in country. Reforms needed to save program remain politically difficult, meaning current workers face uncertain future benefits when their turn comes. Average life expectancy increasing means your money must last longer than previous generations ever needed to plan for successfully. The gate to comfortable retirement stays locked for most because savings habits never matched rising costs and longer lifespans. Expenses continue flowing even after paychecks stop, creating a situation where savings deplete rapidly without careful management from start. Regret hits hardest when people realize years ago they could have saved more, but now face consequences of inaction in their final decades. Goals seem unreachable when starting late with high debt and competing priorities that always take precedence over future security. Future self depends entirely on decisions made today, yet many continue delaying action that could prevent financial disaster later. Time waits for no one, and retirement arrives, whether prepared or not, leaving unprepared individuals in vulnerable position they never expected. Treasure of financial independence remains empty for majority, because consistent saving never became priority during working years. Choices made now determine whether retirement brings freedom or continued struggle between these two paths. Only preparation leads to success. Small, consistent actions today grow into security tomorrow. But without planting those seeds early, the harvest will disappoint completely. Retirement storm approaches with known risks, yet many refuse to prepare, leaving themselves exposed when winds of change hit hardest. Every dollar saved compounds powerfully when invested wisely, turning small sacrifices today into major protection against future uncertainties. The shocking truth reveals problems, but also solutions through education action and smart planning. Anyone can still secure better retirement outcome. Strong foundation requires steady building over time, rather than waiting until last minute when construction becomes impossible under pressure. Others have overcome similar challenges by starting now and committing to a plan that protects against all known retirement threats ahead. Promise made to future self today through consistent saving will determine whether retirement brings joy or continued hardship and worry. The shocking truth about retirement in America demands immediate attention and action from every worker who wants secure and dignified later years ahead. Taking control now changes everything, allowing you to face future with confidence rather than fear of financial ruin in golden years. End the cycle of ignorance by facing facts head-on and building a plan that withstands all challenges retirement will inevitably bring. The path forward exists for those willing to learn and act. The shocking truth serves as a wake-up call, leading to better outcomes for prepared individuals. Victory over retirement challenges comes through knowledge, discipline, and consistent effort starting immediately rather than waiting another day. Share this truth with friends and family because collective awareness can drive changes needed to strengthen retirement system for everyone. The shocking truth about retirement in America has been revealed. Now the choice belongs to you. Take action today and secure tomorrow before time runs out completely.